So what I was saying is, let's go back to the class. It says we should create a file called LORGU. So that's what I was trying to do. Create a file. Just click on, if you're using Replete, if you're using VS Code, I don't know if my VS Code is up yet. He's still doing his village thing. That's good. Let me see, I think I have another VS Code actually. Okay, while that is going, we are told to just create a new file called lorg.java, then create a class and also a method. So create a file, you click on new file here, you give it a name, new file, lorgu2.java, right? Then you can continue, but I already have my lorgu. Then you put in your class, public class lorgu, curly brackets. Now, one thing you need to note here is brackets. There are different types of brackets. As you can see from what you can see on the screen right now, I think you could spot 3 different kinds of brackets. This is one. This is called curly bracket. This is called square bracket. This square one is called square bracket, and this is the normal bracket. These normal brackets that you use. Now, these ones are used for these curly brackets are used for code blocks. Code blocks means you have a block of code where, like, a group of code, let's just put it that way. Everything that is pertaining to this class goes in between this and this. That means that is a group of code. Anything, let me type my main method, public static void main start string. Now, anything pertaining to this method, to this main method, goes into this, between this and this. That is another block of code. This is a different block. This and this is a different block of code. This and this is a different block of code. So those curly brackets are used for block of code. Now, this is used for array. Anywhere you see this, they are talking about array. This square bracket here, they are talking about array. And this normal bracket, this normal bracket is used for functions. They are used for functions, methods, things like that. Okay, I have this. Let me see if this works. So, I just want to see if I can use this for purpose. I know most of us are using VS Code, so public class. Yeah, so actually work. That's okay. That's I know most of us are using VS Code. That's why I want us to use this. So I'll just go back to what we're doing in class. Open folder, desktop, tutorial, Lab1, back, it's working, so that's fine. Okay, so back to what we were doing here. So we are told to create a class called LORGU. So if you've not done this, let's just take it off for a minute. Take it off. Sorry about being everywhere. This is the first time I'm coming along. So lorgu.java, right? So I get my class, and if you don't get your class, you can just public class lorgu, right? The name of your file with the case. Don't type small letter H. And when you are naming your file, the first letter is actually be a capital letter. So make sure the same thing you type there is the same thing you are typing here with the right cases, right? So that's my class. Then for your method, you could type public static void for the data type of the method name, which is main, because that will be the entry file. Main, the string, that's your input, and your code block. Then let's just say out hello world system out print. This is for printing on the new line. I will explain the different types of print we have in a minute. Let's just go. So we have our hello world, which is fine. So let's go back to the question. The question says, create a string, name it st1, and assign welcome to. Now, back to what we learned here earlier. I don't know if I can still get this. Yeah. So they said we should create a string, right? A string, create a string, call it st1, and assign welcome to. Now, when you're creating a variable, there are a bunch of things you should know. There is variable declaration, there's variable initialization. Now, what do we mean by variable? Variable is a box where you keep, it's just a basket where you keep things, right? That is what a variable is in a layman's term. We can read the official definitions in the class note or online. But practically, variable is just a basket where you can keep something. But how do you create a basket? You just do, depending on what they said you should create. The question says we should create a string, right? So they already solved the first part for us. Now, this is variable definition. You have the first thing is your data type, right? Your data type, the name of your variable, name of your variable, then equals the value. You get, so your data type, the name of your variable, the value. In our own case, our data type is string, other kind of string, right? What is the name of our variable? The name of our variable is st1. So st1 equals, what is the value? They said we should assign welcome to it, which means welcome to is a value, and welcome to is a string. And don't forget, when we're talking of a string must always have an apostrophe. So a string welcome to, then terminate it. Now, any statement you are writing in Java must have a terminator. This is a statement. This is another statement, right? Always make sure you terminate it. Now, if you don't terminate it, we do always forget stuff. When you see this red, when you see this red line, the first thing you want to make sure is, okay, finish up what you're doing, right? I might actually have the idea of putting my terminator, but until I put it, it's going to put a red. So don't immediately fret when you see this red line. Finish up what you're doing, finish it up. And if you, let's say this is all I actually thought of writing and I'm saying it, then what you want to, if your code is not running, you want to go to the next red line and see what is after, what is before, and what is even underlined. If you can analyze the three, you should know, okay, this is where the error is. Then what's going on here? String s2 and equals this is correct. So what might be the issue? The issue is you did not terminate it. Again, so when you see a red line, it shows you there is an error. Your code is not going to run. When you say yellow line is just a warning. Your code is still going to run. It's just telling you something like this one is just telling us we declared a variable and we did not use it. It's just a warning. Your code is still going to run fine. But with a red line, your code is not going to run. It's going to tell you one something is going on somewhere. I think I don't know if this fix works. No, it doesn't work. So there you go. So fix that. So create a string, name it st1, and assign welcome to. Now the second one is create another string, name it st2, and assign object-oriented programming. Same thing we did earlier, just a different name, a different object-oriented program, a different value. Object-oriented programming. If you're lost at any point, you have a question at any point, just drop it in the chat. I'll attend to it as soon as I can. Okay. Let's continue. Question number 5. Use print to display the first string. Now, this is where system dot out dot. Now, there are different types of printing. There is print ln, there is printf. Right? I'm just going to go through the 3 different types. Am I recording? Sorry, just a minute. I'm sure I'll think that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so different types of prints. So you have one print, and print itself, right? Print itself. Then you have print ln, then you have print f. Now, the difference between the 3 is this one prints. Let's just see what happens. This is print. Let's just say something, right? We'll still come back to the assignments in a minute. I just want to show you what happens with the 3. So you see, we have something, and our cursor starts right in front of it. Let's print 2 things, something and something, right? So you can see everything, even though they are on different lines, everything still came together. Now, print, just print and continue. There's no line, there's no new line, there's nothing. But with print line, print ln, it gives you a new line. Let's see what happens with this one. Something, then because you are using print ln, it gives you a new line, then you continue. You get? So print ln is print with a new line. After you print, give me a new line, then continue. That's what print ln does. And printf, we'll see printf in down the line. It's for formatting, but we'll talk about this sometimes later. So the difference between print and print ln is, for print, it just keeps printing everything on the same line until there is a print new line, then okay, it says okay, print and give me a new line. That's just the difference between the 3. So back to the class. It says use print, display the first string. So they are telling us to use print. So let's out. System out print line 4. Because of time, I won't be typing everything out. Just note what I'm typing. Well, the S out might not work in exam, so that's why you need to know how to type these things out. It's not like it shouldn't work, but like you can see when I started the class, some things did not work, a lot of things did not work. You might have that same issue in the exam. Also, you need to know how to navigate yourself, how to figure out things yourself. Hopefully it's how to work to make things faster and easier. But if it doesn't work, make sure to know what to type. System out, then print. System.out.print. I hope that makes sense. So they said we should print the first string, which is st1. Now, one other mistake I see people making is with string and variable name. Right? Because from what I told you here, I told you anything that is a character should actually be in an apostrophe. But that's not the case with variables. Now, if I put, I am a boy, I am a boy. Now, you can see a lot of red lines. Now, this is telling me I am a boy. I does not exist in the system. I cannot be resolved to a variable. Arm cannot be resolved to a variable. A cannot be resolved to a variable. And I think at some point to this one, we also throw an error. But the reason why this is throwing an error and ST1 is not throwing an error is because ST1 is a variable, but this is not. So for you to type this out, you need to wrap it in an apostrophe, then you will find, right? But because I have a variable called ST1, ST1 already exists in the system, so I can use it. So you don't have to wrap this a in a in an apostrophe to work fine without the apostrophe. So that's ST1. So print ST1 and we should have welcome to, right? So says use print line to display the second string. So I'll just copy and paste, remind me. Okay, this is just print actually. For the first question, this is another thing you should note in the example too. I think you won't fail because of it, but it might reduce your mark. Read instructions very well. Number 5 says use print. I use print line. You might necessarily not fail, but it will definitely reduce your mark because even though it's printing, the lecturer said you should use print, not print ln. So read the instructions very well and answer it correctly. Number 5 says we should use print, not print line. And number 6 said we should use print ln. So we're using print ln for st2, which is display the second string. All right. And welcome to object. Okay, I think welcome to us as a space in front. So I'll put a space around that again. So welcome to object-oriented programming. So that marks tax 1. Welcome to object-oriented programming. I think the programming has this at the back. Although they didn't put it, so I guess the final answer has it. So if you like, you can add it. If you don't feel like adding it, that's fine. So you can see your stuffs don't necessarily need to work. Like you don't necessarily need to have your final answer at the first go. Run it, keep running it, making sure at least it's running. You're having issues, you're fixing it. But if you think, okay, let me just write everything and run it at the end of the day so I won't have issues. I don't want to break anything. It doesn't work that way. You need to break, not like you need to, but at some point you have to break stuff and fix it back. That's what makes you good at what you do and what makes it actually stick. So run it, keep on refining it until you actually get to the point where it's working as expected, right? So that's that. Number two says write a code to display multiple lines of text with a single statement. So a single statement can display multiple lines by using a line character, which indicates to S out print and print line method when to position the output cursor at the beginning of the next line in the command window, like blank lines, space characters, and tab characters, new line characters, white spaces characters. Yeah. You can read that. You can read this. Just try and read this. All they are trying to say here is I can type, like you can see right now, this object-oriented programming is on a line, right? I can type it out and actually I can split this single line into multiple lines. That's what they are saying, but we'll see what they said we should do back in the code. So create create a file called Lab2 and create the main function. So the backslash, or like you can use a special character to do what they are telling us to do, but I'll just do it and we can go ahead. So new file, lorgu2.java gives me that, main gives me that, and out, say welcome, this is what they said we should do. Welcome to object-oriented programming. So welcome to object-oriented programming. So what they are saying here is if you print this is just going to give you welcome to object-oriented programming, which is fine, but you are told to put them on one line at a time. You could easily do this, right? You could do something like this: s out, welcome, then yeah, welcome to object-oriented programming, right? Then we have it. But according to the problem statement is to use a single statement to print out these multiple lines. So now we are having about 5 different statements. This is not what we want to do. We need just one statement to print out the line. So how do we go about that? You introduce backslash, and you can see it's not normal slash, backslash with n. There are a bunch of, they are called special characters. There are a bunch of them. There's also tab, but we'll also, let's just do what they said we should do in class, then we'll look at that also. So introduce backslash n to each of the text you want to split. Then you have welcome to object-oriented programming. I think they have a space at the top, a space at the bottom. You could do that, that's fine. Yeah. Say that again. So we have welcome to object-oriented programming. There's also tabs, right? That's another special characters. There is tab where you can say T /T. So what that does is it just moves it forward a bit. You can see it. Welcome to object-oriented programming. So that's what the /T does. N for new line, T for tab. It's a string, so you don't need to put it outside or be finding how to put it or anything. It's just like that. I hope I'm making sense. So that's 2. So now to the printf. The printf is just for formatting your stuff, right? Didn't really do much here, but yeah, you're saying you can have a variable and you can print it out. So let's say we have, let me just simulate an example. Let's say we have string, a student, right? String name equals Anthony, and integer age equals 12. So I can use printf to do something like this. Printf and say my name is, then I introduce something called the placeholder, variable placeholder, percentage, I think S for string. Let me confirm that. Yeah, that works. So that's my name is a %s for string, right? And my age is %d for integer. Now, this can be a bit complicated at times. Just note this when you're dealing with printf, you have different characters for different placeholders. So when you're dealing with string uses %s. Integer uses %d. Float and double float or double uses %f. Now you have to read it on your own though, but you can also manipulate these. You can format these stuffs, these values into other things. They give an example of f here. I will also do the same thing, but it's just so. But what you need, the most important thing you need to pick out here is you can use s for as a placeholder for string, d as a placeholder for integer, f as a placeholder for float and double. So let's say I have something like double height equals 6.4, right? So I could say, okay, my name is %s and my age is %d because I'm expecting an integer, and my height is because it's a double, say percent. You can format to say, okay, I need a 2 decimal place. I need it in 2 decimal places, %f, right? For this float or a double. Then I need to now, after I've written my statement, I need to now plug in the placeholder for each one of them. So I have the first placeholder, which is a string. That string is going to be a name. So that's name. I have another placeholder, which is a D. From what we have here, D is an integer, which is age. I have after age and my height is 0.2f. That's the float, which should be either a float or a double, right? So that's height. Right? So you need to plug in placeholder. You need to plug in the variable name for each placeholder you defined in your statement, right? Then it's going to format it automatically for you. My name is Anthony and my age is 12 and my height is 6.40. Now the 0 is coming because we specify that we need a 2 decimal place. That's where the 0.2 comes into place. We can say a 0.5 decimal place and it's going to be here. So that's the idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what there are a bunch of, you can read up on printf formatting on your own time, but I think we'll still see a couple more examples than the labs. So, but for now, note you can use s for as a placeholder for string, d as a placeholder for integer, f as a placeholder for float and double. So that's that. And I don't know if we have. Yeah, let's just see if we can run through this. So the third task, create a new Java file called EasyCal and create a main method. So I'll create a new file, call it EasyCal, the Java, right? So create a main method. Yeah, create a scanner called input that reads values from the standard input. Now, everything we've been doing, right, is been like he's giving us values, it's giving us something, it's printing out something for us. But we can also supply, you can ask the user that is using this program to supply values. That is where input comes into play. That is where scanner comes into play. Now, scanner is just like scanner normally, right? Like we know what scanner is, forget programming right now. You know what scanner is in the sense of the word. Scanner is just for for collecting input, you put a sheet on the scanner and it scans it. You sign on the scanner and you see it on your computer. Scanner does a lot of things, right? It's not just the scanner that they use for scanning documents that is called a scanner. A scanner is anything that collects input, right? The ones you use for your BVN for people from Nigeria, that thing that you signed on is called a scanner. Finger thumbprints, they are called scanners. Thumbprint scanners, all fingerprint scanners, they are all called scanners. So scanner is anything that collects input. Same thing goes in programming. Scanner is any kind of input. So if you want to use a scanner, for example, there are a bunch of things you want to do in the real world sense. Also, you buy the scanner, you put it somewhere, probably give it a name, and then you can use it. Same thing apply here. You need to request for the scanner. Now, we're going to do that by requesting for it from a Java utility. Scanner is a class that's been written for us in Java. I think I might go into that in the next class, but not today. But just note, when you want to deal with scanner, you can see what I did. I didn't have to type it out. Make sure you don't do that. If you want to use that, just type scanner. As you are typing it, you will see a bunch of options here. So just use it. Same thing goes for other Java classes that you want to use, something like random. I don't think random is a bunch of Java classes. I forgot, but yeah, let's just stick with scanner. It's well, one thing I'm trying to bring out here is you don't need to type them out. Like your scanner, you don't need to know where to import it from. As you are typing it, it's giving you options. You can see it's giving you options, scanner, and you can press enter saying, okay, that is what I want to use, and it's going to import it for you. So scanner, how to use a scanner, give your scanner a name, right? I want to call it input. Don't forget, what we want to do here is actually a variable, and from our variable definition here, we say the data type, the name of a variable, and the value you want to give it. So the data type of stuff here is scanner. Like what we'll be getting is a scanner. Then we are saying the name is going to be an input. The name here can't be anything. It could be bedroom scanner, right? No, scanner. Then equals, or let's just use what makes sense. Input equals new scanner because it's a class. It's a class. So that is, you are buying it, right? So we are saying, give me a new scanner. You are not buying it. You are requesting for it. I'm just using the real world term. Yeah, requesting for a new scanner. So it's a class. Scanner is a class. So you say scanner, input, new scanner, then you supply it where you want it to collect data from. Say our keyboard, for example, but you don't just type your keyword system.in. Just note the syntax as it is like this. For you to use a scanner, for you to collect input from user, you use scanner, input, then new scanner, then you pass in system.in into the new scanner. Then you can go ahead and use the in to collect stuff. So I can say name, string name equals input 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 dot, depending on what you want to get. In our own case, we want to get a string, right? So I could just use dot next. We'll see more examples soon, but let's just see. We can just insert enter your name, right? So it says enter your name, then I type Anthony, and that's it, right? I'm able to type in my console. You can make it a bit better. Space, enter your name, and it comes up. Okay, I want it on the same line, so I'll take out the prints. So enter your name, Anthony.